check, 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need, get over the fear, and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello everybody, Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Welcome to Monday morning, the day after Sunday. At least where I'm from, we always follow Sunday. Today we have podcast number 224, and it is 5 real estate investor questions. Remember, if you have a question, send it to support@michaelquarles.com. Here we go. Question number 1. What is the best and most productive way to make use of a business day? Gosh, this weekend I just wanted to stay in bed all weekend and just, lounge out around the pool. So, but that wasn't the question. Sorry. The best use of a productive business day. Set goals the night before. And, there's 6 areas of your life you should set goals in on a daily basis and try to achieve those things. Work hard at it. If you have a hard time holding yourself accountable, we have a little app for that. If you text the word wealth to the number 313131, it'll send you a little questionnaire that you do on a daily basis. It'll send you a copy of your answers on a daily basis, so you can kind of keep track of what you want to do. But that's the best way to make use of a business day. And then I always like 3 appointments, 10, 2, and 4. So go out and talk to sellers at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. If you're cold calling, I always like cold calling between 9 and 11 and 3 and 5 on alternate days. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. The other thing you can do is, from a productive perspective, is always be ready to tell people that you're a real estate investor. So be prepared. Have contracts in your car. Wear a shirt that says I buy houses on it. Have some business card that says I buy houses on them. And be prepared to meet people that want to sell a house that you may not have known before. Opportunity strikes fast. So absolutely. That's what I do. Set goals. Go out on 3 appointments. Cold call if you don't have any appointments. Send some mail out if you don't have any appointments. Go for a drive. Hang some door hangers. We did a podcast on door hangers, and boy, that's listen to that thing on how to do it. That'll set you on a good path right there. Question number 2. On interview 10, you brought up taking more opportunity when you were younger. You also mentioned you could have done so much more, and that you wish you knew what you knew. Wish you knew then what you know now. How would you have taken on more opportunity? What do you wish you knew then that you know now? It's my goal to be like you when I grow up. Oh my goodness, I hope. Don't do that to yourself. So I would like to know what I should be doing now to get to that point then. When I was young, I was reactionary. Meaning everything I did, although a lot of it was very highly successful, it was all reactionary. And the nice thing about having the big OS on your chest, you can think you can do everything you want to do. If I knew now, and that's how to be systemized, how to be organized, how to do things on purpose, I wish I knew it then. I would have done so much more with that big OS. And it would have been fun. I don't know about anybody else, but I'll share a little silliness about myself. But I used to imagine, and I had a date of 31 years old. I actually imagined myself being mega wealthy by the time I was 31. And I was going to buy buy or build or create or somehow own 1,000 apartment complexes or units, I should say. And for me, that was the big OS. But I didn't know how to. I was too reactionary. I didn't have a system. I just had a want. And now I know I have a system, and I'd love to be 18 again, because, by the time I was 31, I'd have 1,000. Now I'm a little bit wiser, a little bit sorer, and not doing too bad. But I wish I would have been more systemized, understood setting goals, because I didn't. But I was just reactionary. I don't know if that makes any sense, but sometimes, when you do something, you just do it because you don't have no clue why you did it, kind of thing. Like, I just arrived, but how did I set myself to arrive here? And in today's world for myself, I set goals and I plan to arrive. I didn't plan to arrive back then. And had I understood how to do that, gosh, I would have been certainly in a different spot in life. Question number 3. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area, and I'm just getting started fixing and flipping. I don't want to wholesale, just fix and flip. I currently use a realtor is combing the MLS. I'm just looking to see if I am going about it the right way or the wrong way. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. Realtors are fine. Here's the thing you need to understand. If you don't know how to process a real estate transaction, they're absolutely worth the entire 6% that you're going to be paying to the two agents, the one that's helping you and the one that's helping the seller. If you do know how to manage a transaction, the 6% you're paying for it can only be attributed to or placed upon marketing, the marketing expense of your business, and it's too expensive. So I would rather not that it's too expensive, because you can find deals off the MLS. I'm not going to be crazy here. It's just they're going to be few and far between. And if you took the same 6%, so on a $100,000 house, that's $6,000. But what are you actually making on that house? If you're making $60,000, then that's a reasonable exchange. But if you're making $20,000, the $6,000 to make the $20,000, it's not reasonable. Now, the reason that a lot of people use real estate professionals is one, they don't know what they don't know. But then again, they can't afford marketing, so it's a way to finance your marketing inside the purchase prices. Now, here's the reality of this, though. The listing agent took a contract based upon what they believed, and they communicated that belief to the seller of value. So they went to the seller and said, I think your house is worth $100,000, and if you hire me, it costs you $6,000, but I can get you $100,000. So you're really going to be netting $94,000, but that's not bad, minus the individual costs that you'll have as the seller. So here comes an investor along, and they say, wait a second, I can't buy it at $100,000 because I have to make money. I can't buy it for more than 70%, so I have to be at least at 70 cents on the dollar. So now you write an offer, your agent gives it to the other agent to present it to the seller, and the agent goes to the seller and says, remember when you could justify paying me 6% because I was going to get you 100? Well, we have an offer for 70. Well, how's that going to happen? Now, I'm not saying it doesn't, but is it going to happen, more times as a positive than a negative? No, it's going to be a negative most of the time, because that agent has to substantiate what he told the seller in the first place and that's the house is worth 100. And because I think it is, I'm worth 6%. So there's where your battle is. And then if you have an agent that's representing the seller who knows the seller's willing to discount it to 70 cents, then why wouldn't they just buy it themselves? If they thought it was originally worth 100, now they know the seller is saying, hey, yeah, I've got to sell it. So if this is the best offer I can get, I'll go ahead and take it. Why can't the agent, why wouldn't the agent at that point say, wait a second, let's do this. I'll go ahead and pay you 70 cents on the dollar. I'll handle both transactions, both sides. We'll make sure it gets done this way. I mean, they can legally, as long as they disclose everything, they can legally buy it from the seller. So now you're hit with, they've told the seller it's worth 100. Now you're also being hit with, well, they could just buy it directly out from underneath you if they know that the seller's willing to take the 70. May not be the most ethical position in the world, but I mean, let's face it. It is what it is. So are you doing it the right way? You are if you're getting deals. If you're absolutely getting deals, you're absolutely doing it the right way. So if I were in the MLS searching mode, I'd be looking at deals or listings that were pre-90, pre-120, and pre-180 days on market. Because I know that's typically the real estate professionals take a listing at 90, 120 days, and 180 days, 3, 4, and 6 months. And those ones that I see that have been on the market for 85 days, 115 days, and 175 days, they may be coming up to be an expired status. And if those expired status properties have an equity base, then I might want to do some marketing to that or get excited about it or write an offer at the last minute. You never know. I may let them go ahead and expire and just go knock on the door too. So all kinds of ways. One of the things you also have to, when you're looking at the MLS, that you want to make sure of is if you're buying off the MLS, in fact, if you're buying anywhere, that you don't buy in an area that has a large amount of REOs that are sitting there either boarded up or on the market. So be conscientious of that as you're buying properties, to make sure that you're not in neighborhoods that have a lot of REO boardeds. Because what happens to that, or for you in that situation, is those lenders can discount the value of that property to cause it to get sold to recoup as much asset as they can. Well, if you go in there and you overvalue or accurately value a property, and then all of a sudden 3 months later, 7 houses hit the marketplace and kill your value, well, now you have an overpriced property. And so you got to be really conscientious of that. Great question.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started, and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. In your pitch to potential sellers, do you detail all expenses involved in selling a house, which you will pay for instead, hence saving them the headache and the money? It's rattling off this intimidating list of expenses. I'm wondering if you ever specifically began to break down a theoretical sales price and then subtract it. Yeah, I can go on with the question, but yeah, I'd say it's called my yellow pad presentation. And we're actually going through that at the very moment in the Gold Coaching Program. It's kind of fun because it's not just about what we say and how we say it and who we say it to, and all the embedded commands and positive and negative reinforcements, those kinds of things in neurolinguistics. But it's also keeping score, and the yellow pad's great for that. And so, yeah, it's the yellow pad presentation. It's friggin' outstanding because it makes it logical and mathematically correct. And anytime someone agrees, rather than having them agree and keeping it in air, your brain, you write it down so they can see the number. They can visualize it. And then when then they agree to do something, subtract some more money for something else, you write it down. And yeah, yellow pad presentation. So if you're in the Gold Coaching Program, we're actually going through that. So, or if you get into it, you jump on in. It's only $247 a month and or $11.97 one-time fee. So for a 6-month program, not bad at all. Question number 5: Can you give me a sense of how much this long list of expenses usually costs as a percentage of the overall sales price? I can. We go over that in depth in the yellow pad presentation, and without actually going through it, it won't make sense if I just throw out a number. So you really have to see that done. And it's a pretty good, it's one of those presentations that's once you learn it, everybody can do it. And I'd invite you to learn how to do it. It's pretty cool. And because again, it's taken the seller down a path of being logical and mathematical, and positioning all the potential costs that there are in a real estate transaction. And the word potential is the important word. I'm not thinking it's going to cost me that, but it potentially could cost me these expenses, and it's absolutely could cost the seller. Because keep in mind that we're the professional here. We know how to buy and sell property. They just know they don't. They're a professional at whatever they do during the day. And might be a great school teacher, might be a great truck driver, might be a great attorney, but they're not real estate professionals. And so we know how to do what we do really well. I don't know if you've ever seen a truck driver back up a double tractor and trailer, but it's pretty impressive. I'd jackknife that thing all over the place. And that's the difference. That's the mindset. I mean, we can do what we do very well, saving those expenses that a seller would typically have to pay. And it's our job to point out to them the path that they're going to go down if they choose to sell it through a realtor or by themselves. And the reality is the reality. So if they're going to pay it, why not reduce the sales price, cause it to be sold today? If your net's going to be the same at the end of the day, let's get the house sold. Not only sold, but sold to somebody who can afford to buy it. And you have a presentation, you have words, and fall forward with it. Great questions, guys and gals, and I appreciate them. I really, 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 really do. And remember, if you're wanting to get into a coaching program, check us out. If you need to chat with me about it, to make sure it fits for you, absolutely get a hold of me. Easy to get a hold of me. All you got to do is email support@michaelquarles.com. Until tomorrow, you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.